Hi everybody. In a follow-up to the last video where we were practicing the basics of how to create shapes for sprites, in this video what we're going to do is we're going to do 3 different sprites as an example. A dinosaur, a spaceship, and we're going to build a stick figure that we're going to use to do some very basic, very simple animation. We're going to try 2 things that I haven't really done before, but might be useful. We're going to try and build a spaceship and a dinosaur. So let's try the dinosaur first. In vector mode, remember? Now we're going to grab an ellipse. And I think I'm going to try and make a leg. Oops. We want, at least I want this dinosaur to be green. So let's try making, okay, we're going to make, this is going to be his hind leg. And we're going to make it a little larger. Something like that. I'm not going to try and stretch that out into his foot. But I'm going to pick it and remind myself that his leg needs to be green. So now I'm going to put a leg, something like this. Now, when you want to, that doesn't look much like a leg, does it? When you put your cursor on this top circle here, that allows you to rotate it. Now I'm just going to make him kind of standing. We're just going to show one side. Okay, we're going to move this up like that. Wait, dinosaurs had kind of a funny leg. We're going to make it like this. I'm going to make it a little wider. So I'm thinking this is the thigh. And this is going to be his upper leg. So we're going to make it a little fatter, thicker. And right. We're going to go like that. Then we're going to get another ellipse. And we're going to make kind of a short, narrow-ish lower leg. Fill that. And then we've got to make him a foot. Big feet. We'll do something like that. And we'll fill it. Go up here. And then we'll put that there. Big feet. Okay, that's a basic dinosaur leg. Now what we can do with it is, if you don't like the pieces the way they are, you can use the Reshape tool. Have to be pointed at the right thing. Nope, this one. You can use the Reshape tool to kind of make part of it a little bit bigger. And then this one, I'm going to slide this down, and we're going to go like that. Slide this one down, we're going to go like that. So that looks a little more like a leg. Okay? And now remember, we're going to group this all together because this is going to be one of his legs. So here we have a dinosaur leg. Now we got to make the rest of the dinosaur. So we're going to take our ellipse tool and we're going to kind of make a big long body like this. And he's going to be standing somewhat upright. So we're going to stretch this out here. Let's see how that looks when we fill it. You can't really see his lower leg there, but maybe that's not a bad thing. Let's work it like this. Huh. We can rotate it a little bit more, make him a little more upright. Okay. And then we're going to take another ellipse and we're going to use it out here. We're going to turn it a little bit. And he's going to have a real thick tail, but we'll work on that once we've got the whole thing outlined. So, right now, he looks like some kind of a weird beaver. So, if you need to recenter him, you just grab the whole thing like this, group it. It's just easier and safer for me to kind of group it. And then you can come back here and ungroup it anytime you want. Let's make this guy a little bit more, how should I say, robust. So we're going to use the Reshape tool. We'll give him a bigger lower body. We'll add some more points here. We'll make him look like that. Whoops. Okay. Yeah. I want one down here. Okay. So that's kind of a... I want him a little bit thicker in the chest and coming up here like this. That might work. Okay, now let's work on the tail piece. Let's zoom in again. The tail piece needs to be, I'm going to slide this guy over. And slide this guy down here. And then we're going to make the tail long. And we're going to, now he looks like a giant beaver. And we're going to narrow this in like this. I need another point here to kind of round it out. Smooth this in that way. And we could probably stretch this guy out a little bit farther. And this can be a little bit narrower, but now we're just starting to fine tune. Yeah. Okay. So now we've got the body, the tail, the leg. And before I do anything else, before I accidentally touch something, I'm going to group this whole bunch. I can always take it apart later. And let's see. I want another ellipse up here. That's going to be his head. Yeah, something like that. And then another ellipse. It's kind of going to be his neck. All right, it isn't obvious yet, but we'll do this one at a time. So I'm going to stick this in here. We'll rotate it. Position it right about there. That's going to be his neck. Grr. Use the pointing tool. And then we're going to stick his head there. All right, now let's do some filling. Got that, got that. When it's time to fill, the fill really is kind of handy because it shows you a little bit about proportion. For example, his neck here needs to be way thicker. That's about right. Now what we're going to do is, let's use the reshaping tool and grab this, zoom in on it. Now I'm going to use this again like I did before to sort of make him look a little more interesting. Like that. And then up here, since Dinosaur's had kind of a flat, oops, grabbed the wrong thing. This is going to be an important thing that I show you here. This button up here, when you move your cursor on it, it says undo. These guys up here. If I click on it, there, I'm back to where I was. So I want him a little flatter there. I want him a little bit longer down here. Right. That's not too bad. So, wow. Let's have some fun. We'll add a quick eye. Not green though. Let's use black and make the line narrow. We'll fill it with white. Then we'll use the ellipse tool and black to create a little yellow. Actually, what I wanted was solid fill. All right. Huh. Pointing tool. Group it and then grab it. And then what we'll do is we'll use our ellipse tool. You know, maybe not ellipse. Let's try using a square. No, ellipse. So we kind of want to position his mouth before we start reshaping. So I kind of want it like that. Okay. Now we can zoom in on the mouth and start using our reshaping tool. Now I want the mouth to be pretty big up front. It gets smaller as you go toward the back. No, this goes down there. This one's undo. Let's undo. Use the pointer. Whoops. Undo. Use the pointer now. I think I want to rotate this a little further. There, that's not bad. If I bring this down a little further like that, and this a little further like that, that should work. And you can add teeth if you want. Let's see how this guy looks. Not bad, but there's something missing. Little arms. So wrong color. Let's select. All right, so we rotate. We put the little arms here. They kind of hung down more, if I remember right. All right, so now we're going to zoom in on the dinosaur. It could work. Yeah, those will work. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to reshape this again. Do I want to make a hand out of this? No. Here's what we do. We make a hand like this. Give it a circle. There's our hand. And hello. Oh. Yeah. Now what we can do is we can zoom in on the hand and we can use our reshape tool to make some, oops. Some fingers. Now, usually a dinosaur had another leg, right? Okay. Do yourself a favor at this point in time. If you've built something like this, save it. And the way you save it is you right-click on the sprite and you save to a local file. So we need to create another leg. Well, this part of his body is grouped. Now we're going to ungroup. And this piece of him, we're going to duplicate. We're going to grab it and move it out of the way. So how do I want to offset this a little bit and put it back here. Turn it a little bit. He's got kind of a bump. This will give you a chance to sort of resize his foot. That could work, but now we get this big bubble here. So here's what you do. You ungroup that piece. You grab onto that big round circle that we had back there. We have a bubble. We use a reshape tool. We pull everything down to inside the shape of his tail. Like that. Right, that should work. Now, what we've done is we've built a very simple dinosaur. And we're going to group him right here. And now this guy is available as a sprite. If you wanted, you could, you know, I'm going to have to do this because it just doesn't look right to me. We're going to have to... That looks better. I just wanted to change the angle on his foot. Now we can group the whole thing and you have a pretty straightforward dinosaur. Okay? Now what we'll do next is we'll try making sort of a simple spaceship. We're going to make a spaceship. So let's see. Let's do a side view. And we'll create a green spaceship. That might work. But I think I want to use another color. Let's use blue. And we'll use fill. So here we go. Right. And then we'll use this. And then I'm going off memory here. We'll create a little thing like this, rotate it. See, even I forget to do this stuff. Don't you worry if you do. All right, come on. Okay, and then a couple of rectangles back here. We'll use the duplicate. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to draw this the way I want it to, but we'll see. Rotate. And duplicate if you like the way it looks. Am I going to be able to do this? Yeah, maybe. Sort of a... All right. Now, we need some little bubbles. Do I want those blue too? No. I'll make them purple. The color of interstellar power. And then I'm going to stick those. I'm going to zoom in here so I can work on this. Besides, I want to show you guys how this little something works. You really kind of want to get this thing sized correctly. Now, you notice this is in front. I don't know if I want it in front, so I'll click on this. Now, you see this up arrow? It moves something forward a layer. The down arrow moves something back a layer. I'll show you what I mean. When I click on this and I want the whole thing behind the blue square or the blue rectangle, I click this a bunch of times until it goes where I want it to, and then it looks like it's just half a circle there. Now I'm going to duplicate this guy and I'm going to put him where I want it there. Then I'll click on it. Back, back, back. There you go. And then I will duplicate two more. I'll send this one back. There he goes. Yes, I'm clicking on that a bunch of times because there's probably more than just one layer. Okay, then I want a bigger, I don't know if I'm getting this right, but I'm going to put this, send it back, a bunch of clicks. Hello. There it goes. And then there was this sort of dish on the front. So I'll, oops. So I'll create a thing like this. I'll use the Reshape tool to make it not look like so much of a sausage. Yep, that'll do. Grab it. Put it on the front here. I think this is like the sensor array. So we can make this shorter. There. And from here, okay. From here, let's see what we have. So we've just created a really, and I don't know if I've got it correct, but we've created a very simple Starship Enterprise. And you come over here and you group it, done. Now, with something like this, you can go into as much detail as you want, have all kinds of fun with it. But I'm just showing you how you can do a very simple sprite and have some fun doing it. Now, the last thing we're going to do is we're going to make a stick figure. And this is a stick figure that we're going to use a little bit later in a future video to demonstrate different kinds of animation. To make this stick figure, we're going to start, again, we're in vector mode. We're going to start with an ellipse and we're going to pick a color. Let's pick this one. So I'm going to create, we're just going to make it simple. We're just going to create a head. Make sure it's filled. And now we're going to do a lot of work with rectangles. We're going to make a rectangle for his neck. Let's just work with filled rectangles from now on. And we need a rectangle for his body. And then we need a couple of arms. We'll duplicate that one. Pull it down. And then some longer rectangles for his legs. Or her legs. And we'll make them a little bit thicker. And we'll duplicate that. Okay. There we have our basic stick figure. So let's put them all together. The neck, the head. Now we've got to turn the legs. Is it straight? Almost. Close enough. Close enough. Okay. Let's grab all this stuff and move it up. Let's make the legs a little bit apart. Actually, we're going to do this a little differently. Since this one's slanted, and we want the other one slanted the same way, one of the things you're going to notice up here in the upper right is there's a cropping tool, there's a flip left and right tool, and a flip up and down tool. So I'm going to use, first of all, I'm going to duplicate the leg, and then I'm going to flip left and right. And that will give me, that's not bad. And then we're going to do the same with the arms. I got a little bit ahead of myself. We're going to take this arm down here. Then we're going to duplicate it. Now we're going to use the flip left and right. And then we'll put the arm in the same place. Not bad. Now, let's give him a little bit of a face. We remember how to do smiles, right? This is going to be a brown smile on a brown face. Isn't going to work. Let's use pink. And now we're going to zoom way in and use the Reshape tool. We'll bring this in, this up, this up. Let's see what that looks like. This needs to come there. Not a bad smile. Now we're going to make an eye, and we're going to use white only. So this is going to be hard to see, but you'll get the hang of it. So we're going to make an ellipse, but it's going to be white. Okay. A white ellipse. There, you might be able to see it on the screen. And then we're going to use black and create the pupil. Okay. Wrong thing to do. Pointer tool. Group. So now we have one eye. Duplicate that, and you have two eyes. So let's zoom back out. We've got his face over here that we need to move here. And we need to move his eyes up here. Now, one of the things you're going to notice, if you're as bad with colors as I am, there, that's better, is that this pink color doesn't show up that well on his brown body. So what we can do is we can use a darker color like red and paint that. Go back to the arrow, and then we'll drop this in like this. Now, he looks kind of clueless, but that's okay. You can work on moving his pupils around to give him facial expression and that sort of thing. But this is the basic stick figure that we'll be using to practice animation. That's it for now, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. In the next video, we're going to do some simple practice animations with our stick figure. So leave us a like, subscribe, and we'll see you in class. Take care, everyone. Bye.